So we asked, can we see the material? And they weren't provided.
It was really shocking, and it made us like, well, what are you trying to hide?
We first addressed with the principal, this is a problem. You are sort of inviting these controversial conversations, and someone's going to get hurt. I'm a product of Albemarle County. I went to the public schools here my entire childhood, so we love the community.
It's a slower pace. Everyone is so kind. That's why we bought a house here, because we wanted to be in this part of Albemarle County for our kids to be able to go to those schools. I remember his mom gave me great advice and said, look, you can do public school, but you need to be really involved, know what's going on. So even as I had more children, like I would pay a sitter to be with one of the little ones so I could still go in and volunteer, because I feel like it's really important. And so we were really happy to do that and felt good about doing, public school here.
I can distinctly remember it was on a Thursday. Our school was hosting sort of a Zoom meeting with the principal where they're outlining what's happening, what's new at the school. And one of the newsletters just ahead of that meeting stated that they're going to be rolling out a pilot program. It would be a 30-minute sort of classroom setting at the beginning of school, and it would really be a child-led sort of discussion. So we asked, can we see the material? Because they mentioned they had slides to go along with these, with the instruction.
It became clear, like it wasn't just like coincidental or odd, like they didn't want the parents to have the slides. It was really shocking, and it made us like, well, what are you trying to hide?
Finally through some back channel from another parent who really pressed them to get the slides, we were able to see some of the content.
I just was really shocked by it, and the more slides we saw, the more really alarming it was. And one teacher proudly was like, well, this is going to be weaved through the entire curriculum, not just their homeroom, and all their classes.
After then seeing it, we remove him from the program. And then, we just continue to raise the concerns about how the program would most likely result in, trouble or pain for some kid.
Our son was in a class, and they were discussing a book or something, and they asked about, why is the wife characterized this way, the man characterized this way, and somebody got up and kind of said it's because, most men are racist and misogynistic and all this stuff, and he rose his hand and kind of said, well, there's different gifts and attributes that, he thinks God gives to the different genders, and this kind of made this other student like irate, and she said, well, what about transgender people? And he respectfully said, I believe God created only two genders, male and female, from the moment of conception. And his teacher, he apparently then went on and complimented and commended him, saying, I hope that you all recognize like how respectfully he shared his views. Several days later, he got this really horrific email from a student that wasn't even in the class that called him misogynistic, transphobic, all this terrible stuff. I kept thinking, well, this is black and white, right? This is an email sent from a school computer from a student on their school email address. Like, I just forward this and they can see right there, this is like bullying. We basically were told, your son might want to think twice before sharing his beliefs about this, and we're going to open an investigation into your son to see what could he have done that would have elicited a response like that. It took forever, and then they came back and they said, well, I guess you're right. He was very respectful with the way that he shared it. But again, you might want to coach your son.
It was my greatest fear realized.
Yeah.
And having a teacher sort of say, what a great example you were. From that high to then the low of being bullied, having the administration not support him, investigate him, and tell us that we've got to do a better job at being parents to prepare him for the wolves that are coming. I didn't think it was going to be my son who was going to be persecuted or punished by the environment that was created. If you're a parent, don't lose hope. Just stay strong in your beliefs and teach that in the home. That will mean way more to your kids and their development than what's happening in school. You'll be their rock.